Hi, everybody, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Jack Canfield, and my guest today is Dr. Florence. And for the past 30 plus years as an OBGYN with a master's degree in public health, she has delivered thousands of babies in 4 different countries, including Canada, where she currently practices. A wife, a mother, and a grandmother who's passionate about family life, she's the founder of Family Restoration Outreach Canada and has authored many books, including her latest one, Your Joyous Birth Experience. Welcome to the show, Dr. Akindele.
Thank you, Jack. So good to be here.
So I'm curious, what inspired you to write your book? Was there a certain event or what was it?
This is one book that I wrote about my experience as an obstetrician, having passed through 4 countries. And I see the different ways things play out for moms of all races and background and social class. Every mom wants something in labor and childbirth that is similar. And when I notice that and I see how different systems operate in these different countries, I believe I have something to share about the stories that I've gathered from my experience over time. And that is towards the fact that women need more than what they're getting right now. And even with the complexity of healthcare systems all over the world, there's a personal side that women need to know to be empowered to have better, joyous delivery wherever they could find themselves. Mm-hmm. So diver in Canada and some questions that people had asked me about how they deliver in Africa and some women wanting to relate with more of natural birth, that then brought me to that point where I'm like, okay, it's not just about natural birth. I think it's about something more unique to each of the women.
Yeah, you talk in your book about customized birth, which I imagine is what you're referring to now. How is that different from natural birth?
So natural birth is that which, of course, there is no intervention. There is no medication as much as possible. But we do know that there are those instances where women would need medications, would need help, may end up needing cesarean section because for different reasons. Maybe the babies wouldn't come out any other way safely. So I began to see that some women would just beat up themselves because they didn't have it without help, they will call it. They needed medications or help. So I believe, and then I started working with this concept of customized birth, where we talk through safety measures as part of what we talk about, and then comfort measures which women look forward to. And I came up with that unique concept of, look, you may not be the one that will have it all through without medication or help, but you should still have a joyous birth. It should still, at the end of the day, give you fulfillment to be a mother, whether it went through the natural means or not the natural. And I find that people have different definitions, actually, for the natural birth. And all that I wrote in the book.
Do you see a trend toward more natural births and customized births, to use your word?
Yeah, I see a trend more towards natural birth. And more so because of the recent experience of COVID and all that, I see women wanting to want us to think outside the box, not the usual, clinic, you go do this and that. More women want to deliver at home. More women want family around them. More women want less of intervention. And I think particularly more women want less of control. I don't know any woman, whether they want to, whatever, even if it's cesarean section, they still want to have a say in how the baby is presented to them and all that. So that's what I see. More natural, more customized, I would say.
Do you see pushback from the medical establishment in regard to that, or are they moving to be more open to that?
Here in Canada, or where I practice, I know that we're looking more towards family-oriented patient care. Coming from that background, many more hospitals and delivery centers want to do more towards listening to the women and helping them through. But there is honestly a shortage of resources. It's a big deal. Even post-COVID, there's a lot of shortage of staff. Even passionate people who would have wanted to be at work are burnt out. And so those are the challenges that the hospitals or the hospital system is facing currently. So while trying to meet women midway, they also have their challenges. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited that you've written this book. All three of my sons were born naturally, all at home. I actually took a midwifing course so I could be there, and also
Wow.
we had a doctor at two of them.
Yeah.
But the first one I did myself, which was pretty wild. But it was fun to be there and actually be part of the process. And like you're saying,
Yeah.
have family around and things like that. So, how is your book different from other books that are out there on this topic right now?
I often joke, I say that I'm an OBGYN with midwife habits and the heart of a doula, because I'm trying to mix everything. I'm just passionate to see safety and comfort mixed together. Because there are some women who will not definitely be able to deliver at home because of the risk the pregnancy carries at that point. And so I'm looking at, all that. And that's why I'm thinking, probably I've had people who've written about birthing from a midwife's perspective, or maybe a doula's perspective, or a researcher's perspective. I'm writing from my heart as an OBGYN who really is passionate about this. And I'm a family person. I'm a mother. I happen to be there with the deliveries of my 6 grandchildren, each with its own rich experience. So I tell a lot of stories from experience, not just from research.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. If people want to get a hold of your book, if they want to learn more about this topic, if they want to reach you, where do they go? How can they reach you?
So the book is on Amazon. I have books on Amazon for family life as well. And also I'm working currently on a coaching program. I call it the Joyful Birth Formula. The Joyful Birthing Formula. Something to encourage women to know that wherever they are in the world, they can still make use of resources both within them and in their community to achieve joyous birth experiences.
Wonderful. Well, if you're watching this and you're pregnant, or you're wanting to get pregnant, or you're the grandmother to be, or a friend, whatever, or a husband, I would really encourage you to reach out actually and get this book, read it carefully, because there's a lot more options for women today than there used to be. And I think in many ways they're healthier. And I love what you're saying too about giving more power back to the person's own experience, which I think is really important. It's funny, I mentioned having 3 children at home, and my niece is a doula in Africa. So it's like we're all part of this movement.
This family, yes, this movement towards hearing the voice of the women. And maybe I should just add, I just got a building next to the hospital where I deliver, where I think for women who want to feel safer, closer to hospital, I also have that in the pipeline. So a lot of things going on, and I'm grateful for this interview, Jack.
Well, good. The book is Your Joyous Birth Experience. You can get it on Amazon. And how can people reach you again? Do you have a website they can go to?
Yeah, so there's Family Restoration Outreach, and there's Florence Women's Health Services. Those websites. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us today, Doctor.
Thank you.
And thanks to all of you for watching today. And make sure to tune in again next week, where I'll have another guest whose insights, whose experiences, and whose wisdom can help you live a happier and more fulfilling life. Until then, remember to stand up for what you know is right in your body and in your mind. And let Florence be one of those people who can help you do that. See you next week, everybody.